All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at doing a refrigeration coil cleaning. Today we're going to be looking at this prep table here. It is an old prep table, so there's going to be a few things that we don't worry about here. First things first is we have to locate our actual coil. So on this unit, it is very easily placed right here. There is a graded system that we just open the door here and it leads us to this coil here. A lot of units either have it on the front here or on the back. A really good way to tell is where your airflow vents are. If you have an airflow vent, it's normally behind that panel, or it could be in the front where the airflow is here. So, number one thing to do, which is not going to apply here, but make sure your power is off. After making sure the power is off, opening up the panel and making sure that the coil either does or does not have filter media on it, and then checking the condition. What we are looking at here on the coil is, it is fairly old, so it's a little deteriorated, but just gonna go over steps of what we should be doing when we are cleaning it. Number one thing is just having a coil brush, making sure that we get that surface dirt off of there. So we're just gonna go vertically along the fins rather than against the fins, because we do not want to damage them. And I am actually sticking that pretty hard against there so that I get inside those fins there. Just making sure that we get those fins in. You can go up or down if you're having issues with some dirt. You can go up to try to see if you can break it. Does not matter there. If that doesn't seem to be getting all your dirt off, then we can go ahead and go over to coil cleaner. So what we use here is Viper coil cleaner. It is made specifically for condensing coils and evaporators. It actually sprays in a very straight line. If you can see here, we actually have these vertical fins, and then we have horizontal piping. So what you want to do with your coil cleaner is spray between your pipes here and make sure you're not hitting those, but still getting in between those fins. That does spray in a pretty straight line there, but you could see I was getting it in between those fins. You're gonna go back to your coil brush to really get that in there and let it sit. So, up and down motion just to make sure that you actually do push it into those fins. So you're gonna wanna go in both directions when you're doing this. Next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take a spray bottle filled with just water. You can do this with a normal spray bottle. We use pressure sprayers. So, just gonna go ahead and get a nice line. You're gonna start from the top and go to the bottom. Make sure you're getting in between those fins and make sure you're getting all that cleaner off. If you are doing this in a restaurant, I do recommend you grabbing a container from their back or bringing a metal container that you could fit under here to try to catch some of this. Today, what I'm gonna be doing is using a linen cloth or a terry cloth and just wiping that up off the ground. Works just as well, but in a restaurant, it's just nice to try to keep your area clean even while you're working. Just make sure you go top to bottom on this cleaning and make sure you get all inside all those fins 2 or 3 times just to make sure you get that coil cleaner off. But this should make your coil very, very clean by the end of it. So at the bottom here is gonna pull up a little bit. I probably just take a cloth, wipe across that. It's not gonna damage anything at this bottom coil here, so you should be okay to leave that and let it dry on its own even. But the main point is that you get it out from those other fins. All right, last but not least, I cleaned up our area just a little bit, make this a little drier. We're gonna place something called filter media on it. I cut this to size for the coil, and I cut a little bit of zip tie and bent it so that we can stick that in there with those fins to make sure it stays in place. Just gonna go ahead and place this here. Place my zip ties in between the 2 fins. Make sure that does stay up there. But that is a nice new piece of filter media on our cleaned coil. That's all there is to it. Make sure you turn your unit back on and make sure everything is good to go when you leave.